Here's just some of the brief highlights there from the 22-year history of these awards. Some familiar faces, some fantastic finalists, and some wonderful entertainment. We'll be having more of that soon, but first, it's my great pleasure to invite to the stage a man who's been dubbed the father of multiculturalism in Australia. Himself an immigrant, he arrived here wearing someone else's shoes, the inspiration and the title for his book, published last year. In Someone Else's Shoes has become a multicultural manual for students, politicians and business people right throughout Australia. Would you please welcome my friend, the founder of these awards, and always a major sponsor, a great believer in the harmony of diversity, the remarkable Mr. Joseph Asif.
Thank you, Tracy. It has taken 22 years for these shoes to travel west with the awards. But finally, here we are. So, Premier Colin Barnett, Your Excellencies, heads of the various diplomatic missions represented here tonight, honourable ministers, senators, members, esteemed judges, valued sponsors, members of the media, guests, and of course, our finalists tonight. It is my great pleasure to be here this evening in Perth, welcoming you all to the 22nd Business Award presentation dinner. I'd like to thank Harry Sidus and the Doric Group for the initial invitation to come to Western Australia. And of course, Premier Colin Barnett and the Western Australian State Government for sponsoring and supporting this event. I'd also like to thank the Virgin Blue Group of Airlines, the first nationally based airline to get behind the awards. They have extended fantastic support at every level. A special thanks and welcome as well to Woodside, the newest member of our family of sponsors. Most particularly, though, I want to thank Australia's largest business banking group, the National Australia Bank, for their continued support. If you take a look at your invitations or the table booklets or the banners, then you will see that we are now officially founding partners. In fact, we have always been a partnership. The NAB has been there from the outset, and in redefining their sponsorship status, you might say we have renewed our vows. People sometimes do that kind of thing after 22 years if they are in a solid, a positive relationship. With the NAB, that has certainly been the case. We have gone from strength to strength. Our esteemed judges have also been a part of that, and I want to extend my thanks to every one of them, and to welcome our two new judges, John Borchetti and Joseph Alou. Thanks to all of you for a fantastic job. Your job got much bigger this year because we have added some new players and instruments to the orchestra. We have added to the harmony. These awards celebrate and promote diversity because without diversity, there can be no harmony. Diversity is the coordination of differences, and a lack of differences brings only monotony, which in the end spells death for any endeavor, artistic, cultural, or business. Ultimately, it can only be disastrous for any nation. In Australia, thanks heavens, diversity is a fact of life, and this fact of life should be all-inclusive. For the awards symphony to be complete, we needed to include the culture of the earliest migrants, the custodians of this land. The introduction of the indigenous business category adds sounds and harmonies that resonate back through thousands of years to the very heart of the place that has welcomed and nurtured us new Australians. Already, this new instrument is being heard. As with the other players, the Indigenous Business Awards create role models. When you meet the finalists in this category tonight, you will see business people who have created wonderful paths for their own people, jobs that have been proudly generated independent of any government support. They have written their own score. When the Asian financial crisis hit in the late 90s, Australia was not seriously affected. People were surprised. When more recently the global financial crisis hit, we were again not seriously affected. People were surprised. I wasn't surprised in either case. You want to know why? I wasn't surprised because I know that the contributions made by our diverse immigrant communities will always be a shot in the arm that will help to immunize our nation against the effects of such financial schisms. I wasn't surprised because I know that diversity of culture generates diversity of opportunity. I wasn't surprised because I know that our yearly stimulus of hundreds of thousands of migrants is a genuine safeguard against financial disaster. It is a safeguard because in effectively coordinating and using our differences, we can create a huge range of economic and market opportunities, both internally and internationally. Those hundreds of thousands of immigrants need thousands of homes. They need education. They need consumer products and services. Every one of them, in their own way, is a mini stimulus package. Those migrants also bring the ability to work, to build, to generate jobs, and to create huge export opportunities with their countries of origin through international business networks and through their own drive and energy. Personally, I have no doubt that refugee immigrants have the ability to be among our most significant contributors in this regard. Often, they come here with nothing, only a passion and a drive to succeed, to contribute, to earn their place. Look at our finalists tonight, the diversity of their origins, the different categories under which they came here: family reunion, skilled migrants, business migrants, refugees. Look at the diversity of their businesses, each calling on their own particular heritage: wine, food, clothes, bricks, paper. They build businesses which change not only their lives, but our lives as well. Productive diversity. It is one of the greatest stories to be told about Australia. It is one of the keys to our success. I fervently believe that we need to continue to build on that success with a well-studied and controlled immigration program that is in itself diverse. A program which embraces a wide variety of skills, cultures, races, and creeds. Yes, of course, we need a gatekeeper, but we need a gatekeeper who clearly understands that potential not just of those who are already skilled or successful, but also of those who carry with them an empty suitcase. In an empty suitcase, there is room for dreams and creativity and resilience and drive, all of the things that have brought our finalists here tonight. I congratulate them and I thank them. They are all winners, and so is Australia. Thank you. It is now my great pleasure to welcome to the stage the Premier of Western Australia, Mr. Colin Barnett.
Good evening, and could I begin by thanking the traditional owners, the Noongar people, to Mr. Joseph Asif, the founder of the Ethnic Business Awards. What an inspiration you are to not only these awards and to people who have come to this country, but to all Australians. And I congratulate you on your personal achievements and the success of these awards. And they are proved to be successful by the number of dignitaries, including many, many members of Parliament, who are here tonight. And may I particularly thank the organisers for bringing these awards to Western Australia, the first time in the 22-year history of the awards. We're very pleased, and I extend a very warm welcome to this state, and I hope not only tonight, but I hope you spend some time in Western Australia and maybe learn a little bit about what is going on here. It's also the first time that Indigenous business has been recognised through a new award category. That is obviously very important to all of Australia, but particularly important in this state where we have a comparatively high Aboriginal population in many remote and isolated parts of Western Australia. This state is known as a mining state. Well, the mining industry is the biggest employer of Aboriginal Australians, and I think a great deal of credit should go to that industry and other industries for their success. Now, Western Australia has 27% of its population who are born outside of Australia. That is the highest of any Australian state. It is something that all of Western Australia is proud of, and that diversity is a strength of our economy and of our community. Many people look at Western Australia and say, oh, it's a mining state and it's a boom state. Well, yes, mining is our biggest industry, but it is not a boom state. It is a state that is on a pathway of strong economic growth for perhaps the next 10, 20, even 30 years. And Western Australia will become an increasingly important part of the Australian nation in almost every respect. Not only is the state going through this very high and long period of growth, Western Australia is far more closely tied into the countries of Asia than any other part of Australia. And just one statistic I'll share with you. China is our country's biggest trading partner. 66% of all of Australia's exports to China come from Western Australia. But it's not only in that large billion-dollar trade, it's also in personal links, in education, in travel, and a whole range of other activities. And Western Australia sees its future very much entwined with a growing and close relationship with the countries to our north and the people who come from those countries. Now, these awards recognise and celebrate the achievement of people who have come to Australia, set up businesses and succeeded. It is a wonderful thing to acknowledge. And Australia, over the post-war period, has been built by migration to this country. In the post-war years, many who came from adversity, personal hardship. Some came with, to use Joseph's term, the empty case, maybe with little in the way of qualifications or even skills. Others may have had skills and qualifications, but they weren't recognised. And what these people all had in common, whether they went into farming or fishing or were shopkeepers, whatever it might have been, they all had a determination to make their way in a new country and have made an outstanding contribution to Australia. And through the growth and success of their businesses in particular, have employed more and more Australians. Thank you very much, and I wish all of the finalists tonight, including the 5 West Australians, every success, and I congratulate you on getting to this stage. Thank you. Enjoy the night.
Thank you, WA Premier Colin Barnett, for inviting us here to your beautiful state, for hosting these awards. And the founder of the Ethnic Business Awards, Mr. Joseph Asif, thank you for those eloquent words. That empty suitcase, that is such a powerful, powerful metaphor, and it can be filled with dreams. We'll be back soon with some fantastic entertainment and, of course, tonight's finalists. I'll see you soon.